Lust. Let's talk about lust. A lot of my clients have struggled with this addiction for over 10 years. And although they may have, and you might have, tried the cold showers, tried getting married, tried whatever it is in order to break free from this addiction, but you're still stuck in it, it's because there's more to the picture. And I'm going to share with you, inshallah, in this video, some points that I found incredibly helpful with myself and with clients on how to break free from the addiction to lust once and for all. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first most important thing you need in your life to be established in order to really defeat this addiction once and for all is to know your purpose in life. Now, there are two purposes. You've got your purpose in life and you've got the purpose of life. I'm talking about both here, and I'm going to articulate the difference between them both right now. The purpose of life is simply to know Allah. That's through His attributes, but it's also to have a relationship with Allah, to worship Him. Any act can become a form of worship when done with the right intention. This is not just as minimal as reading your 5 daily salah or reading the Quran or giving zakat, fasting, etc. This goes much deeper than that. Not to say that the outward forms of our religious practice as Muslims is unnecessary. It definitely is necessary. But let's consider that the exoteric, that is oftentimes unmarried from the esoteric. Esoteric meaning inward reality, exoteric meaning outward reality. Now, the outward without the inward, it's like an empty husk. It's like an empty shell. You've just got the outward appearance of a Muslim, but the inward reality is not there. That's because the esoteric, the inward, is all about your relationship, your direct personal connection to Allah. That is the purpose of life. Because when you have a strong relationship with Allah, this is through iman, stronger iman, then everything you do can be an act of worship. Just through shifting your intention from something that is dunya based to something that is more aligned with the akhirah. To know your purpose, to have a deep sense of purpose, and to fulfill the purpose of life, you need to strengthen your iman. And how do you do that? Making sincere du'as, asking Allah to deepen you in faith is one thing. Going through hardships is another thing. Being in the presence of those who are beloved by Allah are those that love Him so dearly, the awliya. Finding those people of God, being in the presence of them. Because just being in the presence of such a person will benefit your heart, it will benefit your soul. Having a relationship with the Quran, reflecting, this will increase your iman. Asking hard questions, difficult questions about the religion that maybe you have in the back of your mind but you neglect. These difficult questions hold within them the opportunity to deepen your iman, deepen your faith. I know for me personally, I didn't believe in heaven and hell really. I understood the idea, but I didn't truly believe in heaven and hell. I didn't truly believe in the akhirah. I didn't truly believe in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam until not that long ago. Right? This is all over the past few years. I was born as a Muslim, but I had to relearn Islam for myself. And that is what I encourage you to do in order to fulfill the purpose of life, break free from the shackles of lust. Learn your religion again. Learn your religion like you're a beginner. And once your iman deepens, and as it continues to, your relationship to Allah will increase and strengthen. And with a stronger relationship to Allah, the stronger you will be against your desires. Now, Your purpose in life is different. That's responsibility, which is point number 2. Responsibility. When you are responsible, when you have things you need to be doing, you cannot sit there or lay there idly. You have a wife to satisfy or to give company. You have the children to play with and entertain and take care of. You have somewhere you need to be in the morning early. You have people that you help or coach like myself. And so you can't be addicted to lust whilst helping people overcome the same thing, because that would make you feel like a hypocrite. Your purpose in life is to contribute to the world, is to take on responsibility, to say, okay, what is my role in this world? Every one of us has got an individual, specific role. What is your role? You got to ask yourself that question. You got to find what it is. You got to find the intersection between your interests, your curiosities, your natural inclinations, your skills, and the problems you see in the world, and the problems you've overcome. The intersection between all of those things, that's where you'll find your purpose in life. Me doing what I'm doing right now, teaching you, sharing with you knowledge that inshallah benefits you, that inshallah you apply. This is all learned through personal experience. I've been through the addictions, subhanallah, many of them. Weed, porn, food, nicotine. I've been through it. And so I can share with you valuable knowledge from that path that you can't just read in a book from someone that has a psychology degree. This is lived experience. I've been there, I've seen the path, and therefore this information is worth listening to. So know your purpose in life, discover what it is, take on the responsibility to help and serve others, because that's going to fill you up. That's going to make you feel full. And if you're accountable because you're helping others, it might even be with this problem, might even be with lust, then you're going to feel even worse about doing it. And that's going to protect you from doing it. It will serve as an accountability. Just a bonus here, the more responsibility you take on in life, the more risk you get. So you might want to consider adding responsibility to your plate. The third way to beat your addiction to lust is through intimacy. And I'm not just talking about intimacy with your wife, because you might not even be married. I'm talking about intimacy with life, intimacy with Allah. You see, Allah is the most intimate, al-batin, closer to you than you are, subhanallah. And nature is a very sensual thing in this world. When you get into nature, you can have a very sensual experience. You see, there is a confusion between sensuality and sexuality. They're not the same thing. Sexuality is sensual, but sensuality doesn't always need to be sexual. And so when I'm talking about intimacy here, I'm talking about sensuality. To feel your body, to be in your body, to connect with nature, to connect to your senses, to really smell, to really taste, to really hear, to really see, to really feel. Now, how can you sharpen the awareness that you have, the connection you have to your 5 senses? How can you increase your sensuality? This is done through practicing awareness. You could call this meditation. I teach meditation, and I have taught meditation for 7 years now, subhanAllah. You can find more information on how to learn in the description below. But the reason why I'm telling you that is because there's a lot of debates or confusion about meditation and what meditation really is. How about I use a different term? How about mindfulness? Is that term a bit more digestible to you? Does that make you feel a little bit less afraid of committing shirk? Be mindful of shirk. It's not what you think. Addiction is shirk. because you're always thinking about the thing. You turn to that thing instead of turning to Allah. That thing has ownership and rulership over your heart instead of Allah. The addiction to lust and the addiction to anything is an idol that lives in the heart. May Allah destroy these idols from our hearts. And these points I'm taking you through right now are ways to destroy those idols from your heart. So, mindfulness, let's go with that word. Being mindful. This is a practice, and there are two ways to practice this, okay? You can practice actively, you can practice passively. Passive mindfulness means sitting or laying, closing your eyes, or keeping them open if you want to, and drawing attention to each of your senses and fully experiencing them to the best that you can. Truly hearing the present moment and just focusing on sound, using a candle flame, a candle in front of you, looking at the candle and just breathing with the candle, centering your attention. Why mindfulness is so powerful is that it undoes all of that dopamine entangling and all of that dopamine insensitivity that has come from scrolling on social media, playing video games, eating junk food, whatever it is. When you practice mindfulness, you reverse the negative effects of all of that dopamine abuse and you take back ownership of your attention. Now, when you take ownership of your attention, you live life more mindfully. Not only are you going to get more pleasure from the normal things in life, like food, like sound, like nature, like smell, like sight, like feeling and sensations. It's going to make every part of your life greater in quality. Like a child again, in awe. Wow, that's so beautiful. Wow, look at the sky. Wow, look at the trees. Oh, I feel the sun on my skin. It feels amazing. These little things can feel so good when you sharpen your faculty of attention through mindfulness. And then there's less need for you to run away and seek an intense, short lived ejaculation because that makes you feel guilty and ashamed and disgusting and horrible. And you don't want to be stuck in that pattern any longer. So I'm giving you solutions right now. Mindfulness, link in the description. Now, there are two extensions that come from mindfulness, which are the two next points. One of them is self awareness. Now, self awareness means knowing yourself. When you sit, when you experience mindfulness, by the way, we talked about passive mindfulness, active mindfulness is now being aware as you're out in the world. Passive mindfulness is more closing your eyes, sitting down for a period of 5, 10, 20 minutes and really just focusing on one thing, your breath, your smell, your sight, your hearing, etc. Okay, all the sensations in your body. You can do a body scan. I've made a free guide, in fact, quite a while ago that's super effective. It's a body-based meditation. I'll put it in the description. You can have it for free, inshallah, and you'll benefit from it. So that's active and passive mindfulness. Self-awareness is a natural byproduct of that practice because when you're not distracting yourself, when you're not diverting your attention to something dopaminergic, and you are simply being aware, you'll get thoughts come into your mind. You'll have insights about yourself. You'll start to notice your patterns. Now, this is so important for breaking the addiction to lust because if you know your patterns, you can do something about them. Oftentimes, this behavior, when you relapse, quote unquote, or you fall off track, it's because of a pattern, a trigger. It starts with a trigger. It starts with thoughts and feelings and events. And these together make patterns. And if you're not aware of the patterns that are taking place in your body and in your mind, behind the scenes, behind the behavior, then you are set up to lose. What does Sun Tzu say from The Art of War? Amazing quote. He said, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you need not fear the outcome of 100 battles. If you know yourself, but you don't know your enemy, you will lose for every win. If you don't know yourself and you don't know your enemy, you will lose every time. If you know yourself, if you know your patterns, if you know the way your brain works, if you know your triggers and you've seen them before and you're aware of them, then you can engineer your life in such a way that counters them strategically. It's like playing chess with yourself. You're far more likely to win against the one whose moves you know. Now, the second extension that comes from mindfulness, muraqabah. And that word is another thing that's oftentimes confused with some expansive spiritual thing. Muraqabah, okay? We can equate this to mindfulness to a degree, but there's a different aspect of muraqabah that I want to share with you. Muraqabah means to guard your senses. So you're not just being mindful of your senses, tuning into them and living a more sensual life. You are guarding them and making sure that what comes into them, what comes into your sight, is good for you. It doesn't dirty your heart. It doesn't taint your heart. It doesn't lead to the lustful habit. Essentially, lowering your gaze, not just physically, subhanAllah, digitally. Digitally lowering your gaze. Unfollow all the women that you follow that trigger you. When you see a post come up on Instagram that triggers you or makes you get lusty vibes, unfollow, block, restrict. Restrict your content, restrict your algorithm from showing you lusty content. That is a huge trigger. Muraqabah, guard your senses. When I did this, changed the game. Absolutely changed the game. I used to go on Instagram, just a normal innocent time on Instagram, and as soon as I would click the explore tab, there we go, I'd be bombarded with half naked women. Subhanallah. And most guys, including yourself, are probably dealing with this. It's a war zone in there. It's a war zone on your heart. Follow those instructions I've just given you. Clean up your digital, lower your digital gaze, lower your physical gaze. The next point I want to share with you, the next way to overcome your addiction to lust is having a strong sense of brotherhood. You need brothers that aren't just banter bros. You're not just throwing insults at each other and laughing about superficial stuff and talking about this car and this girl and whatever it is. You're brothers on the deen of Islam that are engaging in the jihad al nafs together. You're committed to overcoming your demons together. Therefore, it is a safe and vulnerable space. A place where you can share what's coming up, a place where you can relate to other people because they're going through it too, and you can help one another. This is invaluable in today's time. We need brotherhood. This is essential, especially in today's time. Now, I'm thinking about starting a group. At the time you're watching this video, that group might be alive. So make sure you check the description to see if it is. But if it isn't, leave a comment below. Because if you need that brotherhood, and you want to join a brotherhood, a group of brothers that are on this path together, then inshallah, I will facilitate. And by the way, you might be a sister watching this video. There are sisters that struggle with the addiction to lust. And so you're not alone either. And I see you. I've worked with many women that struggle with this too. It's not just brothers that deal with this. And so this video is for everyone struggling with the addiction to lust. Now, the next point is an interesting one. Healthy marriage. I'm not just talking about marriage. You see, a lot of people get married, as I mentioned at the start of the video. They get married thinking that it's going to remove their addiction to lust. It's going to stop them from masturbating and watching porn. But that isn't what happens. A lot of the time, people get married and the addiction stays alive. Why? Because the marriage is not healthy. There is not connection and true intimacy in that marriage. Everything that I've mentioned so far, all of the points are going to help you in increasing the intimacy and the connection in your marriage. And when that connection is alive, You don't need to watch pornography. You don't need to masturbate. You will definitely be satisfied. But just being married isn't enough. You need to have the difficult conversations. You need to spend quality time with your marriage partner. You need to connect. And so many brothers avoid. And if you're avoiding those difficult conversations because you're afraid of rejection or criticism or vulnerability, then no wonder you're still struggling with this. You need to have difficult conversations with your partner. You need to face the fear that you have of vulnerability. It's not weak. The very fact that you're afraid of it, you're running away from it, and masturbating shows that vulnerability is not weak. It's the avoidance of vulnerability that's weak. Because you're afraid of vulnerability, because it's scary, it's challenging. Therefore, it's the strong thing to do. This doesn't mean crying your eyes out. This doesn't mean throwing a tantrum. This means learning to articulate how you feel and engage in a conversation that can be quite difficult, and to express yourself honestly and truthfully. When your marriage is healthy, you won't need to masturbate. You won't need to watch porn. You will be satisfied. A healthy marriage is, in my experience, one of the most powerful protections from Allah. The next point is nervous system regulation. Your nervous system is in one state or another. It's in fight or flight, or it's in rest and digest. You might have heard this before. This isn't new knowledge, but to you it might be. Your nervous system, when it's dysregulated, when it's too up, when it's too charged, because you're exposing yourself to too much stimulation, or because you've got trapped emotions in your body, those can be from early childhood experiences. When you're in a dysregulated state, you want to expel that energy from your body as quickly as you possibly can. Masturbation is one way the mind tells you this can be achieved. It's a quick way to expel all that energy from your body. And there are many ways to regulate your nervous system, okay? That agitated state. Here are some recommendations. Deep breath work. This is going to regulate your nervous system. I'll put a link in the description for a free guide on how to do that. Martial arts, combat sports. Training in the gym is one thing. Yeah, it's good. But really pushing yourself, exerting yourself in combat, this is something else. There's nothing like it. Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, whatever it is. Whenever I do martial arts, I feel so relaxed at the end. I feel so empty. And it's that emptiness that you're craving with masturbation and ejaculation. You're emptying yourself of your seed. You're emptying your potential. You want to feel empty of potential. In other words, to use it up, but in a way that's real, in a way that's masculine, in a way that's grounded. So martial arts, deep breath work, getting in the sauna, a long sauna session, a hot bath. And I'm talking a hot bath without the phone. Maybe a book, or just you and yourself. Just chilling, just breathing, maybe put some nature sounds on, which is, in fact, most effective way of regulating your nervous system, getting out in nature. I've already talked about that with sensuality, but I'm going to emphasize it again right now for regulating your nervous system. When I get out in the forest, my whole body relaxes. Find what mode, what flavor of nature you find regulation in. Is it the mountains? Is it the fields? Is it the beaches? Is it rivers? Is it streams? Is it waterfalls? Is it the forest? Find nature that really regulates you, because you are not separate to nature. Allah created us all. We are all nature. And when you accept this fact, you'll be so much closer and so much more successful in overcoming your addictions, especially the addiction to lust. Because all addiction is a symptom of disconnection. The opposite of addiction is connection. So, to review the points that we have gone through so far, to live your purpose, to know your purpose, and to fulfill the purpose of life, which is a personal, deep relationship with Allah. Daily exercise, exerting that physical energy from your body so that you don't have that agitated feeling in you anymore. You have expelled. Third, intimacy. Not just with your wife, not just with a partner, a halal partner, of course. Sensuality, self-awareness, to know yourself, to know your patterns, muraqabah, to guard your senses. Brotherhood, a group of like-minded people. Or sisterhood, if you're a sister watching this video, just a group of people that are on the path of improving themselves and destroying their addictions and demons together. A healthy marriage, a healthy companionship, and finally, nervous system regulation. You'll find common threads between these. There'll be some overlap, but these 7 will help you tremendously in overcoming your addiction to lust, inshallah, and breaking free once and for all from the guilty, shameful pattern that you've been in for so long. I pray for your success. May Allah grant you success and freedom. May Allah destroy the idols from our hearts. May Allah liberate us from our addictions and our attachments within this world. Ameen. If you want to work with me, you want to apply for a space in one-to-one coaching, you would like me as your personal mentor, you'll find a link in the description to give you more information on how exactly you can go about doing that. Fill out an application form if it sounds like you, and I wish you the very best. You're also very welcome to like this video, to share it with someone that it could benefit, to leave your thoughts in the comments, and to subscribe so you don't miss next week's video on Thursday. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.